Good evening, everyone. It's the end of day 85, a very late, I don't even want to tell you what time it is. Um, Today was a long day. This past week for me has been long, going through Shenandoahs, obviously, but I made it through. Put in close to right around 19 miles a day to get out. Obviously, I'm in town at a hotel. Gonna relax tomorrow. This is gonna be a separate video. I wanted to do this just to give a reflection update on some things I've been thinking about for a while. Just talk about. I know I've said some of this a little bit before, but just kind of overall. So anyway, when I decided to do this journey, part of it I did on a whim. I would always make excuses. Always something I wanted to do, but I never thought I would have the opportunity. And then I finally stopped talking myself out of it and started giving myself all the reasons why I should do it. I was working 7 days a week. Had a regular, 8 to 5 job, working as a project coordinator. And then on the weekends, I bartended at Frank's Place in Norman by the Sea. For those who don't know, I didn't have much of a quality of life. Obviously, I worked all the time. Never really did anything for myself. Never really did much for traveling or trips or anything. I just worked. So my quality of life wasn't there. I wasn't happy in my own personal life. I felt lost. Felt like I didn't know what I was doing anymore, what my purpose was, what I should do going forward. So I told myself and my family and friends that, under two conditions, I would consider, taking off and doing something like this. One, make sure my son was okay, which he is. He's, entering his bachelor's program, college. I mean, he's a great kid. He really is. I'm very proud of him. I couldn't have been luckier with, the way he has turned out. His mom would be so proud of him. He's great. The other was I didn't want to leave my dog. And for those who don't know, I had Oakley, my little dachshund, for 14 years. I got him right before I was separated from my son Dylan's mom, Lindsay, and we got divorced. So he's been my little ride or die that entire time since 2013. February 13th, I could tell something was wrong. He was having trouble going to the bathroom. I was able to get him into the vet and found out he had prostate cancer, advanced prostate cancer, and there was nothing that could be done. So I had to let him go to cross that rainbow bridge. I actually carry his collar on my backpack this whole entire time. But he had a good life. He wanted for nothing. He was very spoiled and loved by everybody. He was a great dog. So, those combination of things, I decided, screw it, I'm going to go. And I set a date so I couldn't back out. Left both my jobs and took off. It was a gamble because honestly, I never expected to make it nearly as far as I have. I was so physically out of shape. I knew I would get in shape, but it was hard. I didn't know mentally how I would do, emotionally how I would do. Within the first week, I think it was within the first week, I actually remember the video, and I remember having a conversation on the video when I was hiking on the trail, because some people had made a comment to me about how are you going to do being out there all alone. You're a very social butterfly, which is true. How are you going to do with that? And I said, no, I'll be fine. Like, it's not a big deal. Meet people, find a family and all that. I've watched YouTube. That's how it's done. No, it's not really the case. Part of it's my own fault. I do a lot of hiking alone because I had goals. Those goals being, one, figure out what the hell I'm doing with my life. Like, what do I do from here? Obviously, I wasn't happy. I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere I needed to get. And I didn't know where that place to get to was. I didn't know if I was talked about moving to the mountains and buying all this property, and I don't know. I just wasn't sure. Another reason was I had, over the years, all the loss of life, friends, family, just kind of boxed it up and put it at the back of my brain. There was a lot of anything traumatic that would be considered traumatic, I just never dealt with. I just boxed it up and threw it way on in the back. Deal with it some other time. I read a book a while back. It was about grief and about how, as humans, we aren't taught necessarily how to grieve. It's something you pick up and learn as you go. Whether it be just experience from family, from friends, society. So to me, and kind of growing up, didn't experience a whole lot of death at first, and I wasn't really sure how to deal with it. I always viewed society, I guess, almost kind of felt like it was programmed that as a man, your job is to provide, and your job is to not necessarily show emotion, but to control your emotion and to take your time whenever the opportunity presents itself. Whenever you have that alone time, then you can deal with it. Obviously, that's not the way you're supposed to deal with anything, but I understand myself enough to know that that's what I was doing. Same with relationships I've had. I have a hard time allowing myself to open fully up because, once you've been hurt by a friendship or a relationship or anything, you have that issue. You always want to hold on to that little piece that nobody can get. So that was a big factor, is being able to work through all those things. Figuring out what I want to do, going through those things, and then finding myself, finding out who I am. What am I capable of? Because, I've always had a hard time accepting compliments. I can take criticism with the best of them. It is what it is. But compliments, I'm just like, oh, thank you so much, but I don't feel it. Like, I don't feel the same way, and I don't see what everybody else sees. So, that was another thing. So, like I said, I never imagined being here, all the way here in Front Royal, Virginia, 972 miles in. I never expected that, but I've also accomplished so much. But lately, the physical hasn't been as much, even though the terrain's been rough. Well, not really rough, but just the conditions, the elements. Obviously, there's been a heat wave. It's been extremely hot. Water sources up in the Shenandoahs, and before then, were just like sometimes 10.5 miles in between water sources. Takes its toll on you. But a lot of it's been the mental. The mental aspect has really, and it's not the Virginia blues. I'm sure that probably has something to do with it, but I'm more self-aware that that's not it. The mental aspect has been in full-blown mode lately. I keep in contact with people as much as I can. I post what I can, I do videos when I can, and I want everybody to know everything you guys respond to, you love, you send so much encouragement and support, and I can't thank you enough. But as much as all that happens, there are times, and lately it's been a lot, that I have never felt more alone in my life. And it's made me question things like, was that the purpose of me being out here? Like, to figure out, to be alone? To maybe I'm supposed to be alone? I don't know. I just know it's worn down on me. Now, I don't want anybody to think I'm like quitting. I've never worried about finishing. This was never about a destination. This was about the journey and figuring myself out, figuring out what to do, working on myself. So it's always been about the journey. It's never been about going all the way to Maine. So it's hard when people say, how far are you going? So I've kind of just gone with the generic answer from day one. As far as my body and mind will let me go. And when they tell me it's time to stop, we'll stop. And I'm not stopping yet, because as much as I've accomplished being out here, lately, over the past few days, I've been in my head a lot thinking, and some things have come up, recently in life, and it's made me realize that I still have stuff that I have to work on. I still have to work on myself a little bit. It's hard though, I mean, when you're out here every night, I see people that are with friends or they've made friends, and but I also didn't want to feel like I was regulated under a group of people to do what they wanted to do. But that's also alienated me enough to where, I kind of caused this on myself, obviously. I just didn't realize how much it was going to really affect me. It's been hard. It's been really hard. But I still have things, like I said, I need to work out. Some things I need to work on myself. I don't know how long that's going to take. I don't know where it's going to go from here. I just know that some days I can just shut my brain off and just hike until I'm exhausted. Lately, though, I've had trouble even going to sleep. I've been up since 5:30 this morning. I'm exhausted physically. Mentally, I'm exhausted, but can't shut my brain off. I'm here wide awake, at god-awful time, early in the morning, doing this video, because I figured, what else am I going to do? So it's definitely been a roller coaster, but the mental's definitely kicked it in full drive. And I know everybody wants to help, and everybody wants to say, whatever they can, and I do appreciate it. But you have to understand that no matter what, it's my own internal battle, and it's one that I have. That's part of me coming out here, is I wanted to face it. Where am I gonna hide? I can't hide from it. Back home, working 7 days a week, that's hiding from it. I didn't have to worry about it. I didn't have to face it all the time. Out here, you don't have a choice, and the harder you fight it, the stronger it hits. And I know, because I have fought it. I have done some days where I'm just like, nope, I'm just going to focus on hiking and just putting that one foot in front of the next. Just keep going. But all it does is build up, and it just hits you harder. And it's been rough. So I have accomplished some of the stuff I wanted. Losing weight, that was just a bonus. I already knew that I would lose some weight. Never dreamed it would be what I've lost, but that was great. Obviously, getting in better physical shape was great. I have worked past a lot of the grief that I never did, so I feel good about that. Still don't know exactly what I want to do, but how many people in life really do, you know? Not sure exactly what I want to do going forward. Like I said, I'm not stopping what I'm doing, so I don't want anybody to think that. I am saying I don't know when or how long, it'll be. I always said when I feel accomplished enough and my body and mind said we were good, then we're good. So I always told everybody from day one, when I did that video and I said I wasn't going to post it way back in North Carolina at the Knock, when I had a really hard moment on that one cliff, when I had talked to, my friend Crystal, and she said, people need to see it's not all sunshine and rainbows and, beautiful views. People want, show them the real. So then I always said I would. So this is the real. I've been thinking about it for a while. And I guess the only reason I haven't done a video is because I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to say. But here I am. So, but yeah, so it's, if I were to tell anybody that wanted to do this, getting physically in shape, that's great. It's just going to help you out. Being able to, but you don't have to be. I mean, I started off struggling to do 5 miles. Now, over the past week, I've been averaging well over 20 miles a day in this heat with the lack of water. Because I dug down deep and I drove, I just went forward. I would say that to do something like this, 90% of it is mental. And you have to be prepared to face that mentality and anything that you've hidden away from yourself, it's going to come out. And all those things that you don't want to think about, they're going to come out. You're going to have to face it. You're going to have to deal with it. And to be a social person and be alone all the time, it's going to take its toll on you. It definitely is. I've had days where I question everything, question myself, question what I'm doing. But I keep trying to fight, keep trying to push it, push myself, because I feel like there's more I have to accomplish. And there is more I need to accomplish. Not as far as destination, miles, it's just mentally, there's more that I have to accomplish. So I know I'm not the best. That's part of it's because I don't have the cell service isn't that great, but I haven't been the best at times of communicating, posting stuff, especially getting back and commenting, replying to comments. So I do apologize for that, but I want you guys to understand that it's some days it's a struggle just to even get up, to get going. Some days you just sit there and think about what the hell you're even doing, but we're going to keep going forward. We're going to keep working on things. I do appreciate everybody and all the love and support and the encouragement. It means a lot. It definitely does. It's a mind, if you know what I mean, There are days that no matter what, I feel more alone than I've ever felt my entire life. And those are the hard days. Those are the days that really make you question yourself. Doesn't matter, I could be on the phone 24/7. Just some days, when it's the end of the day and you're just laying in your tent out in the woods by yourself, like, some days are great, by a nice creek, beautiful, but some days you just sit there, like, last night I just laid in my tent, just couldn't shut my brain down. So, and here I am again doing it too. So I figured maybe if I get this out on a video, it'll help me reflect back on it, hopefully. And I've been journaling. I have been journaling, writing stuff down. One, to help me remember. Two, to help me kind of process things. Try to figure some of these things out that I'm still struggling with. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to give the heads up. I'm probably going to go ahead and post this video. Again, I apologize. It's not a beautiful video with views and all. Those are coming. I'll get those posted probably. I'll work on them tomorrow while I'm doing laundry in town or at the hotel. Yeah, so I'll work on that stuff. But I just had to get this out, kind of give everybody an update. And so, process of elimination, getting stuff out. So anyway, guys, I hope you have what is now going to be a wonderful Wednesday. And I will see you all later. Have a good night.